Captain Marcus Webb had seen stranger things in the outer reaches, but finding a Valorian combat medic bleeding out in an escape pod near the Helix Nebula definitely made the top 5. The Wanderer's fortune wasn't a warship. It was a cargo hauler, 70 years past her prime, held together by duct tape, prayer, and Marcus's stubborn refusal to give up on her. His crew consisted of himself, a malfunctioning navigation AI named Vera, who insisted on calling him Captain Inadequate, and enough coffee to keep a small moon caffeinated. So when his sensors picked up the distress beacon, Marcus did what any reasonable human would do. He ignored common sense and went to investigate. The Valorian was barely conscious when he dragged her aboard. Her chitinous armor was cracked, blue blood seeping through the fissures, 4 arms hung limp, and her compound eyes flickered with the dimming light of approaching death. The Valorians were warriors, 7 feet of disciplined military excellence that made humanity's best soldiers look like children playing dress-up. "Easy there," Marcus muttered, hauling her toward the med bay. "Let's get you patched up." She tried to speak, her mandibles clicking weakly. In Valorian culture, accepting help meant debt, eternal binding debt. Marcus didn't care. He'd seen too many good people die in the void because someone calculated the cost of compassion. 3 hours later, synth skin patches covered her wounds, and her primary hearts beat steady. When her eyes opened, they fixed on Marcus with an intensity that made him step back. "You saved Tactical Officer Jathera of the Valorian Imperial Fleet," she said, in heavily accented standard. "Why?" Marcus shrugged. "Seemed like the thing to do. I am your debtor. By the codes of valor, I serve you until death releases me. Look, you don't have to. I serve you, Captain." Her voice carried the weight of an unbreakable vow. That was 6 months ago. Now, as the Wanderer's fortune docked at Nexus Station, Marcus wondered for the 1,000th time how his life had derailed so spectacularly. Jathera stood at attention beside him, her armor polished to an impossible shine, her forearms resting on various weapons that definitely violated station regulations. You really don't need to do this every time," Marcus said. Respectfully, "Captain, you are incorrect." The dock hands parted like water before them. Valorian warriors commanded respect across the galaxy, and seeing one follow a human in a worn flight jacket like he was a fleet admiral sent whispers cascading through the crowd. At the cargo master's office, a Threxian administrator with too many eyes and not enough patience glared at Marcus. "Your shipment is late, human. The guild will hear about this." Before Marcus could respond, Jathera moved. She didn't draw a weapon. She simply existed more intensely. Her mandibles clicked in the Threxian's direction, and her compound eyes caught the light in a way that promised violence. "You will address my captain with respect," she said softly, "or we will discuss the matter outside regulations." The Threxian's skin paled to a sickly green. "No need for that. I'm sure we can accommodate the delay." It was always like this. Marcus had become infamous not for his skills, his ship, or his cargo routes, but because a Valorian warrior called him captain and meant it. Last week, a pirate crew had tried to board them near the Kepler belt. Jathera had repelled them single-handedly, while Marcus frantically tried to restart Vera, who had chosen that exact moment to update her sarcasm protocols. The pirates scattered when they realized they weren't fighting a cargo hauler. They were fighting a Valorian's bonded captain. The thing was, Marcus still didn't understand why she stayed. He'd offered to release her from her debt a dozen times. Each time she looked at him like he'd suggested breathing vacuum. That evening, as the Wanderer's fortune prepped for departure, Marcus found Jathera in the cargo bay performing her evening combat drills. Her movements were hypnotic, 4 arms flowing through forms that could disassemble an armored squad in seconds. "Why do you really stay?" Marcus asked. Jathera stopped mid-strike. For a long moment she was silent. Then she turned to face him. "When I was dying in that pod, I calculated my survival probability. 0.3%. I prepared for the end." Her mandibles clicked softly. "Then you arrived. Not a military vessel. Not a rescue ship. A human in a cargo hauler held together by hope and stubbornness." She stepped closer. "You didn't scan me for military intel. You didn't ransom me. You didn't question my worth. You simply said, 'Let's get you patched up,' like my life was worth saving because it was a life." Marcus felt heat creep up his neck. "That's just being decent, no, Captain. That is being human." Jathera's eyes gleamed. Valorians are taught strength, honor, duty. But you taught me something our warrior codes forgot. Compassion without calculation. Kindness without condition. That is why I tell everyone this human is my captain. Not because of debt, but because you showed me what true leadership looks like. Marcus didn't know what to say. In a galaxy where might made right, where every species clawed for dominance, he'd just been trying to do the right thing. So, Shathera continued, her mandibles curving in what Marcus had learned was a smile. Where does my captain fly tomorrow? Marcus grinned. Heard there's a colony on Epsilon Eridani that needs medical supplies. Route's dangerous, pays terrible. Perfect, Shathera said. I will prepare the weapons. As Marcus climbed toward the bridge, Vera's voice crackled over the intercom. Captain Inadequate, we have a problem. Your coffee maker is broken again, behind him. Shathera's laughter echoed through the ship, a sound that no one in the galaxy expected from a Valorian warrior, but one that had become Marcus's favorite thing about his strange, impossible crew. The Wanderer's fortune launched into the black, carrying a human captain, his Valorian warrior, and a malfunctioning AI into whatever the void threw at them next. And somewhere in the outer reaches, pirates whispered warnings, avoid the old cargo hauler. The human has a Valorian and she calls him captain.